Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well on this fantabulous Thursday. Now, this is video one of two, possibly three, but this is new doc time. You're looking absolutely amazing, by the way. You must have had a good week, and I hope it continues through the weekend and into the following week as well, because I always want you to both look and feel amazing. But anyway, there's been some new Idaho 4 docs. We done some docs that dropped the other day, which was in response to the hearing that was closed, the IGG, and now we have 3 new docs. I know some of you have interest in the docs. You don't read them online, or you don't have access to the online docket. So I'm going to go through them quickly. They're not massively interesting because you know what happens in this case. They hide everything. But here we go. Let's do it. Let's do it together. So this is motion to temporarily seal Exhibit 1 of state's third supplemental response to defendant's fifth motion to compel discovery pending hearing. Come now, the state of Idaho, by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney, and hereby moves the court pursuant to Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32G, blah, 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 temporary order sealing Exhibit 1 of the state's third supplemental response to defendant's fifth motion to compel discovery herein because release of or disclosure would interfere with enforcement proceedings, deprive a person of a right to a fair trial or impartial adjudication, which is shite, constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy, disclose the identity of a confidential source and or disclose investigative techniques and procedures. I always find it interesting when they talk about this confidential source. I believe at this stage that when they're talking about confidential sources, I still believe that this is relevant to the IGG situation. I believe that the people contained within the IGG family tree that was built are each individually considered confidential sources. I could be wrong. The undersigned seek this protection pending a hearing on the matter, wherefore the state respectfully prays that the court steal from public disclosure Exhibit 1 of the state's third supplemental response to defendant's fifth motion to compel discovery herein under the provisions of Idaho Court Administrative Rule. Ann Taylor's confirmed that the defense does not have an objection to this motion. So again, something that is being hidden. So we go to the next one, which is the state's third supplemental response to defendant's fifth motion to compel discovery. And then we've just, I believe this is the list. So comes now state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney and submits the attached Exhibit 1 in response to defendant's fifth motion to compel discovery. The state incorporates the following responses as fully set forth at this point. State's response to request for discovery filed on January 23rd, 2023. State's response to defendant's first supplemental request for discovery filed on February the 21st, 2023. So this is just a list of things that have been requested as we go through that now. So different requests, you know, from where they were compelled to give different pieces of information. So I'm hoping that some of this is relevant to perhaps the open hearing and the closed hearing. Perhaps they are handing stuff over. The reason why I believe a lot of this may be closed off, gagged, if you like, is, again, potentially this is to do with the IGG stuff that's being handed over. I don't know. It says state's supplemental response to defendant's fourth and response to fifth motions to compel and motion to limit scope of testimony filed May 10th, 2024. So yeah, a list of things that were requested and have finally been handed over. That was signed off by Ashley Jennings. And then the final one here, temporary order sealing Exhibit 1 of the state's third supplemental response to defendant's fifth motion to compel discovery pending hearing. So again, this is just another, based on the state's motion to temporary seal Exhibit 1 of the state's third supplemental response to the defendant's fifth motion to compel discovery. pending hearing. So it does sound like there's going to be another hearing. But again, I thought I'd go through them because I know that some of you guys like to keep up with the docs. You perhaps don't have access to it. I did a live yesterday. I've got a video coming out late which just kind of concludes whether I felt that the Aryan brothers situation held weight or not. We had a bit of a discussion in the community last night. Thank you for those of you who joined. Again, you'll see how I feel about it. There's issues, but we spoke about the fact that I believe in the Idaho 4 case, that we've got a bit of Idaho 4 blindness at this stage. Those of us who are on the fence and can't fully convict Brian Kohberger at this stage because of an acute lack of evidence against him. I do hope during the trial that if this is going to go down the route of Brian Kohberger being convicted, then they at least show more. I'd hate to think that Brian Kohberger is going to get convicted on a bunch of circumstantial evidence that individually it doesn't really amount to much, but when seen by probably a jury who could potentially be biased, and they just see it all together, and it just racks up such an image that they convict on circumstantial evidence. I'd hate to think that that's the case, but the more that things happen, such as, again, I did a video yesterday that touched on the fact that Idaho are indeed requesting more money for this trial. This is a trial that's cost the taxpayer $3.6 million already, and what more way to piss off the community than to say, look, we're asking for more money, we need more money. You start hitting people in the purse and people are going to get hacked off, and they're going to blame Brian Kohberger, and I feel that this is part of the strategy of the prosecution. I feel that a mass amount of this has always been about leveraging people's hatred towards someone who is not a local. He is someone who came into the area and committed, or being accused of committing, this atrocity. And what better way to try and, fuel even more hatred when you've got to be careful what you do release, and there is a gag. There are still things that they can do, and I still feel that they're playing a dangerous game. I feel that the prosecution are being underhanded, and, maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I am. Do you know what I mean? And again, we spoke last night briefly about the fact that I think that we all seek validation in the things that we believe. Those who have Brian Kohberger absolutely convicted, they seek validation in anything that supports that narrative. And we, even the people on the fence and the people who are less balls deep in Brian Kohberger being guilty, we perhaps look at it like we're seeking validation in other stories and other versions of events, because in our minds, if Brian Kohberger didn't do it, then someone else must have done it. Do you know what I mean? So what is there out there that makes sense? And later on, I do speak about the Aryan case one last time. That will be the last time I speak about it. But there you go. That's the latest docs. If there's any more come up, I'll let you know. As I hear it, you'll hear it. Do not worry. If you aren't already subscribed to the channel, please do. It does help the channel massively, and smash that like button. See, I remembered. I don't always remember. I remembered this time. Anyway, stay amazing. Stay looking beautiful. I'm still trying to keep hold of my voice as I lose it. Hopefully, I'll be all over this by the time we go on holiday. But until the next one, look after yourselves, guys. Love you all.